This is Computer Science Discoveries, and we are in Unit 3, Animation and Games, and this is lesson number 6, where we're going to learn about something called sprites. As you think about what first comes to mind when you think of Sprite, you probably think of soda, and I'm just simply going to tell you it means something totally different in computer science. On this first level, where it's giving you this overview, it'll give you a definition of a sprite. It's usually some kind of character that's been designed already, and you can assign all kinds of different properties to it with regard to location and size and how we're going to make it move and look. Okay, so you're going to see some of this here, and we are going to start moving along. We're going to do our sprite planning or our scene planning in a little bit. So you've watched this first video here where it gives you an introduction to what these are. And in level number 3, now you can kind of see, oh, look at all this stuff in your toolbox and what you're going to be able to do now. And so you're going to start on these first levels pretty simply. It's just going to show up as a block first. This is different than when we were drawing a rectangle, all right? You'll get opened up to see where all this stuff is in just a little bit. But as you start working through these first levels, let's take a look at what they tell us. And notice in your toolbox, I don't see my blue drawing in my math one right now. You see something called world, and then you see something called sprites, and it has this purple variable part attached to it. So to create a sprite, this block creates a new sprite and assigns it to a variable. The default name is called sprite, so we'll probably want to change it to something a little more specific in it that we kind of know what it means. But as we're getting used to it, we'll just kind of stick pretty basic. In addition, now in this world part of the toolbox, which is yellow, sprites will only appear on the screen when you draw them. Okay, kind of like when you wanted something to be colorful, you had to say fill before you drew the rectangle or the ellipse. On this one, you're going to put the drawing part afterward. So this program includes some comments that'll tell you where to place the code, but otherwise right now it's blank. So see, it says creating a sprite and drawing. Your program should look like the image on the right. If you hit run, nothing's happening here. Got the grid on, reset, nope. We've got to do something. Add the variable sprite block command here under the comment creating sprites. So you're going to have to click here. You have to drag this thing and put it under this first comment called creating sprite. Now, notice a yellow triangle appeared here, and it tells us right now that we've defined the sprite, but we haven't called for it in the program yet. They're telling you, don't worry about the yellow triangle warning, okay? Don't worry about it yet. Then it says add draw sprites under the command for drawing. So here's the comment for drawing. I'm going to go over here and pull this draw sprite right there. It says run the code, and there it is. Now, there's something to notice here, because it looks just like a regular box, like you've drawn before, but sprites are drawn from their center. So notice here, when it said 200, 200 for your X and Y position, that's the very center here, and that is the middle of your sprite. In this case, it looks like a box because I haven't pulled in anything fancy yet. Don't worry, but that's where you're headed on level number 4. In level number 5, here it's asking you to take a look at this particular sprite. They called it My Sprite, and it's giving an X and a Y location here. You are supposed to predict where is this going to show up. You can't even hit run yet because we've got to make our choice first. You do that, then run and see if you were accurate. On level number 6, what you need to do here is a little bit of debugging. It should create 2 new sprites, one on the left and one on the right. It's only drawing one. If I hit run, I only see one there, but it should look like this. Okay, it says you don't need to add any new code, just rearrange the code that's already here to make sure that both sprites show up like the picture on the right. So I have left sprite, that's this one, right sprite, that's this one. Notice you can see a 100, 200 for this location, 300, 200 for this one. Rearrange this to see if you can make it look like that. When you get through that level, then I want you to, on your own, watch this video, which will take you a little bit further, and you start going ahead and working through these levels. It's going to get a little more challenging now, so be patient and make sure you read those instructions. Here's the first part of lesson 6. I hope it helped, and good luck.